I would have to say the most beneficial adjustment I've made to my training and powerlifting in general is just letting my personality and my individuality come through, not trying to shelter who I am. I remember when I was coming up in powerlifting, I was pretty nervous to let my personality show through in meets, especially the bigger meets. There was a particular guy at our gym that would tell me that most federations didn't allow people to have facial jewelry or colored hair or stuff like that. Obviously, it was just the fact of him not wanting me to represent our gym looking like that. But having the confidence to be myself and step outside of the norm had tremendous effect on my confidence, which led to the platform. So just being myself and being an individual really helped my confidence, which in turn helped my training.
Okay. For me, probably two things come to mind. Getting chiropractic care and massage therapy. That worked for me for quite some years. If I hadn't did that, I think I would have probably dealt with injuries. You know, only injuries I've had is little small, minor stuff, nothing major. You know, so I think those two things helped me out tremendously, to where I stayed healthy and taking care of my body. Next thing was in the deadlift. I made a huge jump when I switched to the hook grip. It allowed me to pull a lot more weight, so that was a pretty big thing on my total. So that was the next biggest thing.
Don't break it. My short 4 years, I mean, there's only so much that I could screw up or do right. So, you know, it's a short list. But I trained conjugate for 2 years, and I didn't really have the knowledge base to keep that moving and keep that working for me. So as my lift sputtered out, you know, got around some guys and asked some questions and found a program that worked for me. You know, volume intensive and a peak type of mentality. So that, along with within that program, getting my technique better, not missing reps in training, just again building momentum going into a meet has been a big help.
All right. My biggest adjustment was that I had to understand or learn that for me, that reducing my time under the bar would help me out. So I had to learn that the quantity wasn't so as important as the quality of the lifts or reps that I was doing. So I had to learn that for myself, I had to adjust the percentages I was handling, how much I was handling, the volume I was doing, and just so as not to beat myself up so much and be able to actually make progress without spending so much time in rehab and so on and so forth. So it's actually worked out so far.
Two biggest adjustments that I've had over the years, the last few years, has definitely been nutrition based. I've noticed that when I take really careful consideration of my nutrition, not just around a meet cycle for weight class management, but just throughout the year, my body feels better, less achy, and my recovery is a lot better. So nutrition has been huge for me. And then the other one is just listening to my body. I think it's really easy for us as powerlifters to just kind of plow through training and sometimes go a little too far. But really listening to my body when it needs a day to back off, listen and recover. And it helps. Well, it's helped me stay in the sport for as long as I've been.
You have to say diversity again.
Okay. Diversity. I think the biggest beneficial change for me has been surrounding myself with a diverse group of individuals in training. I think too many people surround themselves with people who all think the same way or the same strength level or train the same way. So I think it's been good to surround myself with other people who can give you things that you would otherwise not get if you just surround yourself with people just like you all the time. So I think that's been a good beneficial thing.
Thanks, Joe. There's a couple adjustments that have made the biggest effect on my lifting. Since I've been competing for almost 20 years, the first 10 I spent mainly training on my own when I worked at the Y, and the adjustment that by far made the biggest difference was being able to open my own gym at Orlando Barbell and being able to train with like-minded individuals who had similar goals, who were able to challenge each other and critique each other. That by far has made the biggest difference. The other adjustment has been just working with different training methods to find out what's worked best for me, which has been primarily using a gradually increasing range of motion based off percentages. That's helped to really to allow me to have such longevity in the sport and help to prevent injuries.
Sitting next to Bob Youngs has changed my life.
I can see that.
Yeah. No, so I think like Elite FTS, really the network of people, creating a huge network, all the people here, going to meets, learning everything from other people in the warm-up rooms. You know, Bob taught me how to deadlift. You know, even though you're around people in your gym, you know, you kind of do get caught up in that same type of mentality where even if you have people of different thought processes, everything gets looked at the same. When you go to meets, you have new eyes, new people, you expand your network and your knowledge, and Elite FTS really has helped me do that. So I think that really just being part of the team is the biggest thing that changed my training and gave me more knowledge base.
So the biggest positive change I've made in the last few years is to take a more consistent approach to meets. So in the past, I used to be a little bit more concerned with single lift PRs, and I'd go for single lift PRs on every lift, and I'd make them here and there, but I wasn't having consistent meets. I wasn't really putting together big totals the day of the meet. So switching that a year or so ago, really boosted my meet performance. I wasn't making quite the single lift PRs I used to in the past, but my total wound up coming much more ahead than it had before. So,
thank you. For me, I think the biggest item would be seeking out the strongest people you can find to train with. It started for me when I moved to Columbus and started training at Westside Barbell. And then it continued when I moved to Florida after that, and I really sought out the strongest people I could find, and some of those people are in this room. I remember Brian and Joe. I would go up to Orlando now and then. They'd come down to Palm Beach County and train with us a little bit. And some of the guys, the younger guys on the team, Brandon Smitley and Joe and Casey, get together. And not only the environment of that given workout, but the knowledge base you acquire through just the practical application of what you're trying to do. You can't get that in a book, a DVD, or a video. So many times since I've been involved in this sport, I've talked to somebody who said, "Oh, I work hard," and you get them in the gym, and they don't understand what hard work is until they see it. So I think seeking those people out, those people who have had success and have become strong, being able to be around them, learn from them, and see how they become a success is most important to me.